One of the most important aspects of solutions is what we call solubility and saturation, and that's what we're looking at today. So, solubility and saturation. Let's start with solubility. The solubility is how much of a particular solid can dissolve in a certain solvent. Emphasis on can, right, at a specific temperature. So if you have a salt, for example, you add it into water and we'll make a solution, right? If we do that, again, the salt is the solute, the water is the solvent, and what we made is a solution, but it's important to know that, for example, if you keep adding salt, it's going to get to a point where the salt won't dissolve, because you can't dissolve any salt you want in any water you want, right? Like, what if you have a cup of water and you have a bag of salt, a big bag of salt? It won't all dissolve, right? So there is a limit, and that limit right there is what we call solubility. The amount of salt that can dissolve into water. No more, no less. We call this solubility, right? So we usually have a number. Like, you're like, okay, the solubility of salt in water at room temperature is 50 grams. What it means is that, so 50 grams per milliliters or something like that. What it means is that only those grams can dissolve in that amount of volume. If you add more, it won't dissolve. That's what we mean by solubility. All right, so let's go to the next one, saturation. Saturation happens when you reach solubility and then you just keep adding. That's it. All right. So when you add, so let's say we're talking about salt. You add a bunch of salt to your water, and it gets to a point where you can't add any more. If you can't add any more, if you add any more salt, it won't dissolve. You've added all the salt your water can take. That is called a saturated solution. A saturated solution. So the one in the middle in my figure right there is a saturated solution. We've added all the solute that can dissolve. Right? Saturated solution. And look at this. If you keep adding more after you've reached the saturation point, then now you have a super saturated solution. And your solution, your salt won't be dissolved anymore. Your salt will just deposit at the bottom of the solution. That is a super saturated solution. It has gone over saturation. Now, what if we haven't reached saturation yet? It's called an unsaturated solution, right? Unsaturated solution. So this one right here, I don't know why he said saturated. It's unsaturated solution, right? It's a solution that contains less than the maximum amount of solute that is capable of being dissolved. All right, so that's enough about saturated, unsaturated, and supersaturated. So make sure from this video that you know what solubility means, what saturation means, and then the difference between saturated, supersaturated, and unsaturated. All right, that's it. See you next time.